Welcome to Mission to Inspire with Shola Ajibade, where inspiration, purpose, and abundance come alive. Together, we'll empower lasting change, helping you step boldly into your greatest potential. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mission to Inspire. My name is Shola, and I'm joined today by Jenny Toe. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Hi, Shola. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Oh my goodness. Jenny has joined me actually all the way from Singapore. Oh my God. How is it over there? How is the weather?
Well, we just had a day of showers, so I think it's finally the sun's finally coming up. Yeah. So well, in Singapore, it's either hot and dry or hot and wet. That's about it.
All right. So it's awesome dry or awesome wet. So it's not like
Yes.
winter and
So
things.
we don't have the four seasons here.
You don't have the forces in. Okay. Right. Great. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I know that you are an international coach, and yeah, and you're the director of River Life Coaching in Singapore. I know you have
Yes.
3 children, and you help introvert women navigate the complexity of work and family life. So, having said that about you, Jenny, do you want to say a little
Oops.
bit about yourself? Do you want to tell us more about you? Let us know you more.
Uh, yeah, so I'm based in Singapore. My first career is in law, so I was a practicing lawyer for close to 25 years or so. And I pivoted into coaching because I believe that this is what God, because I'm a Christian, what God is calling me into in this season of my life. So I trained as a coach in 2019, started River Life Coaching in 2020 when COVID hit. That's why I can coach international clients, right? So in a way, that was a blessing in disguise. Starting the business during COVID allowed me to have a wider reach than just supporting people here in Singapore. And I moved into coaching because I'm passionate about supporting women in general, and of course, introverted women because I am one myself and I didn't get that kind of support when I was working in the corporate world. So in a way, it's like my way of paying it forward. Yeah, so I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and some training as well to support my clients.
Right. Okay. Great. Oh my God. Wow. That is excellent. So you're one of those who started just after COVID
Yes,
hit. A
during
lot of
COVID.
people started business around that time.
Well, Shola, when I planned, it was January 2020 when I formed my business. So I had no idea COVID was going to hit. So COVID hit all of us in March 2020, right? And we were thinking, oh, let's sit it out for about 3 weeks and things will go back to normal. Then things didn't go back to normal, but I stayed firm on course and kept finding ways to grow the business and change my business plan as well.
Okay, great. Wow. I'm sure that must have helped you anyway, because now you can coach from anywhere, just in the comfort
Yeah,
of.
now everyone's familiar to all these ways of meeting, right? Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. It seems there's no more boundaries. I guess the only main boundary is the time zone. But I'm glad that you, Shola, and myself can actually meet for this podcast recording because the timing works.
Exactly, the timing works. Great. That is it. The timing works. Thank you so much once again for joining us today. So the unique combination of your being a lawyer and a coach is so unique. How did your journey lead you to coaching? I know you said you're a Christian and you were
Mm,
led, you feel you were
mm.
called, but why did you choose to focus on empowering introvert women?
I will answer the first part of your question because when I was working as a legal counsel in a bank, I was kind of like a mid-level manager. So the organization offered me like a short coaching course so that I can be a better manager. So that's when I first experienced the power of coaching. And I realized that, it is a very useful skill to use. Because I am naturally empathetic, so that the coaching skill helps me to be even more empathetic, to hone my listening skills and to really be present and really understand someone's situation from their perspective. So that was a very good skill to learn. However, life gets busy. I kind of pushed that away. But come around 2018, that's when I felt like, oh, this is something I want to pursue, seriously pursue. And that's when I took the leap to train as a coach in 2019. I studied for about a year, doing it part-time while still holding a full-time job. And your second question about why I want to support introverted women, I noticed in the workplace, because I am introverted, that when I was working and trying to climb the corporate ladder, a lot of opportunities were not opened up to me that easily, because I thought my mindset was that if I work hard and I continue to deliver well, so my performance review ratings were always very good, but somehow I see others being promoted, yeah, before me, and I'm wondering, hey, what's going on? So I
Yeah.
sought advice, gotten some feedback, that the word that keeps coming up is, yes, Jenny, you do good work, but you're not that visible. The senior stakeholders don't know who you are. You have to spend time talking to those people. And for me, at that point of time, I was thinking, if I spend time talking to so many people, I'm going to feel very tired, and who's going to do my work? Right. So that's why I felt that it is important to first have that mindset shift. And that's what I coach, my clients who are more introverted about. That being said, Shola, I do coach other people as well. So it's not always introverts. That's like my ideal client, but I would love to support anyone who comes to me. But if my client's more introverted, and let's say she also has that same remark from her manager, that in order for you to be promoted, you need to be more visible, right? And then she will tell me, I can't do that. It's not me. So the coaching process is firstly to help her identify for herself, what does visibility mean? One. And once she's clear about what vision from her manager or whoever told her to be visible, are we on the same page here in terms of your definition of visibility, to kind of like align that? And once both parties are aligned in terms of what does it mean to be visible, then you can start shifting your mindset to, okay, I understand what visibility means now. What can I do that still feels authentic to myself to be visible? Yeah. So a lot of times when people say visible, you might think one thing, Shola. I will probably think, oh, visible means giving one presentation and that's it. Whereas, Shola, you might be thinking visible means, giving more than one presentation. It's like speaking up to this group of people every week. So it's kind of like to align that understanding, and then to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it because my manager wants me to do it? Or is it because I can see value in doing this, sharing my knowledge, and then eventually I get more notice, and hopefully that will help me in my, promotion, or getting a wider scope of responsibility, or I'm given the opportunity to create value and impact. Yeah, so you kind of like need to understand what you're up for before you commit to actions and strategies.
Okay, great. So how did you overcome that? How did you overcome that then? Were you then?
So as an introvert, my style was actually to really develop good and strong one-on-one relationships. So when I realized that, oh, in order to be promoted, I need to get sponsorship from X number of people. That's when I started reaching out to them one-on-one, really spending time to understand how I can better support them. And also, kind of like talking about my work. It was very uncomfortable, right? To say that, oh, I did this, but I realized my end goal was to get that promotion. So that's what I did. I leveraged on my strength as an introvert to form strong one-on-one relationships. And eventually they all gave me very good sponsorship comments and things like that, and I got my promotion.
Wow, that is great. Oh my God. That would have been very uncomfortable, like you said, for you at that
Yes.
time. Wow.
Yeah, so it was to identify why I wanted to do it, right? And I was thinking, okay, I've been working here so long, I do good work, I want to get recognized for it. So that was the goal, and that's how I pushed through my discomfort. And I kind of enjoyed making that one-on-one relationship. It was very interesting. I mean, I wasn't that comfortable in giving training. I did that as well because it's part of the deliverables that I do. I did training, but at the same time, after the training, I focused on a few people and getting to know them better. So that helped me also develop strong relationships.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. So many introvert women, they feel pressured to adapt to more extroverted environment, like the workplace, for example, mixing
Mm,
up, going out for lunch,
mm.
discussions, even at meetings. A lot of them would feel pressured. And I would say I used to be an introvert. I'm not an introvert anymore. Or maybe I'm a mix of both.
Yes, I mean we're
Because I
all
can be
on a
very,
range, right? We're not all
pardon?
boxed in. We're all on a range. So on some occasions you may be more extroverted, and on some occasions, you may be more introverted. But you kind of like have a natural tendency, and you will know maybe in this season of your life you feel that I have more opportunities to be extroverted. And one thing about that is to identify what you're passionate about. So when these women, if they face a challenge, is to actually identify, okay, in what instances can I really have my extroverted spurts, right? It could be talking about a project you're very passionate about. So you don't have to say, I did this, I did that, but you're so passionate about talking about the work that you do because you recognize its value and impact. In that way, you actually have an extroverted spurt, and you're talking to people, kind of like influencing them. It's just that after that, as an introvert, you really need your downtime. After talking to so many people, you need your downtime, you need to rest, you need to recharge and reflect. We do a lot of reflection actually. So it's to recognize throughout my workday, I need my extroverted spurts, but after that, do I allow myself downtime to recharge?
You're very true. I have to recharge. Even my kids cannot stop me from recharging. And my husband, I tell them, you know what? I need my quiet time, please. Just spare me that 20 minutes, please. Let me be. Okay, now I do understand. Oh my God. But what about women that want to get into the leadership role? I know for you, you were reaching out, but for people that don't do projects, for maybe an administrative kind of work, or they do project, but they work alone, they're a lone worker. So,
Mm.
what advice can you give to those kind of women?
It's to leverage on your natural strengths for really being empathetic, because as we're introverts, we don't tend to say that much, but we get curious about other people, and we don't like small talk. We like to have meaningful conversations. And one thing is for you to think about, oh, I really want to get to know this person. For example, you are working in a remote team and you don't really know you don't really know your other team members that well. And in team meetings, everyone's just talking because everyone maybe perhaps are a bit more extroverted. But you can say that, oh, actually, I would like to know Shola a bit better. I always see her in a meeting, but I don't get a chance to talk to her. So kind of like I coach my clients to say, what's within your control? Because they are naturally empathetic. So they'll be thinking, oh, I don't want to disturb Shola because she's so busy, right? Like, I don't think she has time to speak to me. But you are assuming that Shola is busy, right? So the little shift in mindset is to ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do if I want to set up a call with Shola? Oh, I drop her an email or I drop her a message. And it's entirely up to her to come back to say, yes, I would love to chat with you, Jenny, or no, not right now, I'm busy, but maybe we can do next week, or no, completely, right? But if you didn't do that first step of sending out that email or text message, the answer is no, you'll never get to talk to Shola. But if you did that, there are so many possible answers. So that's when I coach my clients, okay, what can you do that's within your control? So this one client said, okay, I can drop, because she wanted to speak to her boss's boss, right? 2 levels up. So she said, okay. And she held herself out because she was saying, he's too high up, he's too busy. But then when I coached her, she was saying, I can drop him an email and I can kind of like propose a few time slots and see what happens. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then fast forward to a few weeks later, she happily told me, I got a meeting with him. Then the next challenge is, what do I say? Right. So long story short, is actually to think for yourself what's really within your control and what can you do just to take that small step to do what's within your control and allow the other person to respond in whatever way that they want, right? It's not your responsibility to kind of think how they will respond.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God, that is so insightful. Thank you so much. Well, you're a strong advocate for mental health, fitness in your coaching practice.
Mm.
Um, can you explain a little bit more? How
Mm,
does it
sure,
how
sure,
does it play a role in helping women achieve and sustain their happiness and success? Can you elaborate?
sure. So Sure, like if you think about physical fitness, you need to exercise, right? You need to have a proper diet, you need to train, you have to be disciplined. So I think when we talk about physical fitness, everyone understands that. But
Mm,
what do you mean by mental fitness? So mental fitness is the ability to handle life's challenges positively. Not saying with positive emotions all the time, but to look at life's challenges positively and say that I am resilient. I'm able to face this, even though it's difficult. So it's actually being quite fit, right? Mentally fit. Like, for example, if you're not mentally fit, something bad happens, you crumble.
yeah.
And then you say, everything is bad. But if
Mm,
you're mentally fit, you can say, oh, this particular area of my life is not good, but I can think about how I'm resilient in other areas, how I have support from other people, and how I am resourceful, right? So although you have a bad situation in your life, it doesn't eat up the rest of your life. So back to why I think it's important for women, actually everyone in general, to have mental fitness is that we have a very strong inner critic in our minds. And we always think that, oh, the inner critic says it's just another thought. It doesn't mean it's true. So for example, if you're up for a presentation, your inner critic is saying, oh, Jenny, you can't speak very well. Your slides don't look very good. Everyone won't be interested. So why bother? And you're already dejected even before you start your presentation. So being mentally fit is to recognize that, oh, that's my inner critic talking. Do I want to listen to her for this? No, I don't. Okay, what useful thoughts can I replace this thought with? So you can recognize these unhelpful thoughts. How can I replace these unhelpful thoughts with helpful thoughts?
okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Okay, so Shola, I think everyone understands what physical fitness is. You need to exercise, you need to train your muscles, have a healthy diet, get enough sleep, right? So people can understand physical fitness. But when it comes to mental fitness, what does that mean? It's actually training as well, right? Training your mind to be resilient. So when you are faced with life challenges, you are able to look at it and say, okay, I am resourceful, I'm resilient, I have support, I'll be able to deal with this. So someone who's not mentally strong will see a life challenge and probably will crumble because that person will feel that it's going to affect all areas of my life. But if you're mentally fit and strong, you're able to say, okay, this needs to be looked at, but at the same time, I have all these other resources and I know that I'm resilient from past experiences. I have been able to bounce back, right? And then that's a more forward looking. Instead of focusing so much on the problem, you're able to focus on possible solutions. So when I coach my clients is to recognize what helpful or unhelpful thoughts come up when they face a particular situation. So a simple example is if you're set up to give a presentation, your inner critic will say, oh, you don't speak very well, your slides are not very good, this will not be a success. So you can recognize, if you're mentally strong, you can recognize, oh, these thoughts are not very helpful. So what thoughts do I want to replace them with? So it could be you've prepared enough, you know your audience, and you've already rehearsed so many times. So why not just go ahead and do it? And whatever the outcome, you know that you've done your best. So that's a healthier way of looking at that situation as opposed to, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to do well.
That's true. That's true. Like you said, it's about shifting our mindset. It's about positivity. Thank you so much for sharing. You are a Christian
Yes,
coach,
yes.
yeah, which is good, and you emphasize on the importance of balancing the marketplace and home front. So, how do you guide your clients in finding harmony between their career and their ambition and their family, especially their family life?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, gone are the days when there's a proper divide between work and life, right? Like, in this day and age, work mingles with life, life mingles with work. So it's actually important to understand the season of life that you're in, because Shola, you mentioned kids, but I don't know how old they are. So it's also to realize what season your family life is in. For example, if you're just newly married or you have a young baby, or like, but one is to recognize your seasons in life and then recognize what are your priorities, right? And on some days, career may be so just to say you got just this very simplistic view of things, but let's just say you just got two broad priorities: work and your family. So on some days, you may have to pay more attention to work because that week requires you to be more present at work. And on some weeks, you have to be more present at home because your child could be sick or, your husband could be away. So it's to balance that. So it's not so much like, oh, one size fits all, like, oh, I'm going to put family first for every single day. And I think women feels guilty when they say that, oh, I'm not able to put family first at all times. I mean, that's the reality, right? We do need to juggle our priorities a bit and see what is most required for that day.
That's very true. That's very true. We just need to juggle and prioritize. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, for those who may be hesitant or unsure of coaching, what can they expect from you working with them?
So, when you're working with a coach and when you're working with me, I'm not saying I'm the expert. I would regard myself as your peer accountability partner. I provide this safe space for you to really talk about what's going on in your life and in your mind, and it's non-judgmental. And people love it because I'm not in your life, Shola. So you can tell me things. I'm not saying gossip, but you can tell me things that you feel that, oh, I can't talk to this about work with my husband because he's always, rushing to give me a solution, whereas I just need to kind of like talk through things, right? So they find it healthy that I'm not in their life. And at the same time, I provide a structure for them to talk about the issues that they're facing. And I'm always recognizing what they can do within themselves, what resources they have, what support they have, and come up to co-create together plans for them to be able to implement going forward. So although I'm not there, like for example, a particular topic is, let's just say, how do I build a better relationship with my manager? At the end of the coaching session, we'll come up with some strategies for that person to build a better relationship with the manager. She will go and try those things and then come back for the next session and say, oh, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, but I realized why that didn't work. And then she will use the next coaching session to talk about how to refine that approach. So you see, it's always recognizing your present situation and what do you want to get, in the near future, and working towards that. And me, I provide that space for you to talk through things. I may offer some observations, and together we can co-create a plan or a strategy that you can apply for yourself.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, for those that might want to join your coaching session, for example, because I will need to do a recovery call, isn't it? 30 minutes and reach out to you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I offer a complimentary 30-minute call. You can find the appointment link. I believe, Shola, you put it in your show notes, right? But it's on my website, riverlifecoaching.com/appointment.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jenny. Thank you so much. We've really enjoyed this experience, and we thank you so much for connecting with us anywhere we are, all over, or any part of the world. Thank you for joining us, Jenny. Any inspirational?
You're very welcome, Shola.
Yeah, thank you. Any inspirational advice for people out there?
Well, I believe that strength comes from not just recognizing the change that you need to address, but really the courage to take those small steps to make that change happen.
Oh, thank you. The courage to make those small change happen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you everyone for listening as well. Keep downloading, keep watching, keep commenting, keep listening to our guests on Mission to Inspire. Thank you everyone for joining us. And until next time, it's Jenny and Shola on Mission to Inspire. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.